Welcome. I see most of you are out of sticks, so that's always good. You know, I went to my son's house last week, and he was in the back getting barbecue ready, and I was trying to find something on my phone and realized I wasn't connected to his Wi-Fi. So I yelled out, "Hey, Mark!" That's his name, Mark. "Mark, what's your Wi-Fi password?" And he said, "Taped under the modem." Okay? Well, I'm busy doing this thing. It's not working. Well, I did it again. How many of you got that? How many of you have done that? I'm glad you're here today. I hope we have some good information for you. Let's ask the Lord's blessing as we begin today. Father, I thank you for who you are. And Lord, sometimes we get focused on what you do, and we forget that your presence is the greatest gift we can have. And so today, as we learn some new things, enjoy each other's fellowship, and sample some of the great cooking here, we ask that you would be our guest, that you would enjoy our fellowship as we enjoy the fellowship of each other. Thanks again for who you are and what you do. All of this we pray in Jesus' name. So, Shelley, I saw her commit. There you are.
Hi, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Shelley Friesenberry. I'm the Admissions and Marketing Director for Health Services. And this is Teresa Earhart, and she's our healthcare navigator. So we are the team up there for assisted living, memory care, and the health center. So I'm just going to touch on that in just a moment. But first of all, I have a volunteer opportunity. For those of you that don't know, the Polk County Fair is starting tomorrow, and we have an opening for a couple people on Saturday morning. And so if anybody in here was interested in that, please get with me. Those of you that have already signed up, your tickets are with Tracy out there at the reception. So anyhow, basically we have a vendor booth that's set up, and it's fun to have residents out there and staff and just kind of visit and share your experience here as people come by and visit the booth and want to get brochures and any information that would pertain to pricing or specific questions like that. You would just take down their information and then get it to me, and I'll get it to Tanya or whoever the appropriate person is. So anyhow, if you're interested, let me know, or let Carolyn know, actually. Carolyn will know how to get a hold of me right away. Does that sound good, Carolyn? Okay. So anyhow, many of you look familiar in that you were at our last Q&A, and I want to thank you for coming. For those of you that are not aware of what those are, that is our quarterly question and answer time, and we typically hold it up in the health center inside the chapel, because most of the conversation that takes place up there pertains to the health center, assisted living, or memory care, and insurance, and if you have a short stay at a hospital and you might need to come for rehab, or if you're interested in learning about assisted living or memory care options as well. So Teresa and I are the team that you would be working with, and so we just wanted to come say hi. We're going to be coming more regularly again. I know I used to, but we would love to see all your faces and get to know you more, and then make sure that you know who we are. You can reach out to us. So thank you very much for having us today.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Okay. So I just want to make some announcements about some activities this month. These are also on your calendar, so if you don't remember everything I say or need to reference it, it's available to you. So tomorrow, we are going to the Polk County Fair, a big bus of us. So we have a full bus already, and we're going to leave at 10 a.m. and pickup will be in both lobbies. And then we're going to have 2 different pickup times to return here. So we're going to have a pickup at noon, and that will be everyone that wants to return at noon. They meet at the fair entrance. And then the final return is at 1:30. And I did confirm there is an air-conditioned building at the fair. It's the 4-H building. So I know that a lot of us might be spending some time in there if it gets too hot. And then this Friday night, we have a special treat. Our Friday night event is going to be our own DRV Village Stompers, which is our line dance group. There'll be some extras that the instructor is going to bring some of her advanced dancers, but come and join us for that because it's going to be a lot of fun. And that's at 6:30 here in the Cascade Commons. And then next Tuesday, we're going to have a meeting at the Lodge Library at 10 a.m. to go over the casino trip. So if you want to go on the casino trip, you might want to come to that meeting to get some more information and also give us your ideas. And then Tuesday, August 21st, we're going to have a special presentation at 3:30 in this room, the Cascade Commons, by the Smart Reader program. I know that some of our residents are involved in this program already, but they really need some more volunteers. So if you're interested, please come and see that presentation. And then Friday night, on the 24th, we have our own resident historian, Walt Schroeder. He's going to give us an amazing presentation on women of the Civil War. So that's going to be interesting. So please join us at 6:30 here in the Cascade Commons on Friday the 24th. And then Tuesday, August 28th, in the Lodge Theater, we're going to have another virtual reality experience. So if you've missed out or if you've enjoyed it and you've visited in the past and you want to come back, please join us for that. And in September, we have our Spirit Mountain Casino trip. So you'll learn more about that when we're meeting this next week. And then Tuesday, September 11th, in the Village Apartment game room, we're going to have Mona bring some silk flower arrangements, and she's going to have a display and sale. So if you'd like to come and see what she has, please join us. And you can maybe do some holiday shopping a little early. And then on September 21st, we're going to have another special Friday night event. And our guests are going to be the Dallas Ballet and Academy of Dance. And they're a local dance group, and there's various ages, from little ones up to high schoolers. And so that's going to be a fun little event. So if you're interested, please look forward to that on the calendar. That's all I have for now. Thanks.
Good afternoon. So I hate to disappoint you, I don't have a joke. But I have more to talk about. Oh, it's clapping. But I have more, obviously, I'm here to talk about than everybody else, so maybe that's okay. But I'll try to do 2 things. See what we can do. So one of the things I don't have on here that I want to just bring up for a few minutes, I want to talk about our landscaping crew and what they're up to out there. So the grass says we've seen some browning spots and so on, but we're starting to now see that turn around the corner. It hasn't been a lot of irrigation adjustment, and we've had a lot of past wet areas in the past that we've been trying to correct this year, and now we're a little the other way, a little bit drier. So, but we just did a little bit of a tour with them now, and things are looking up. So looks like the brown spots are greening in, and they're getting that handle. So we're happy about that. Another thing that they want to start providing is a seasonal newsletter that we will get out to folks. We'll make it available on paper as well as on Odyssey. Just kind of letting folks know what type of work they should expect to see going on during that time of year. So you can see a spring, summer, winter, fall thing coming out right about those times of the seasonal change. So it will help at least get some information to people and give you an idea of what they're working on. So, another thing about safety, the seatbelt part up here I'm going to talk about, but also with those landscape fellows out there, just want to encourage everybody, please be very careful and try not to approach them if they're running equipment, the headers, the trimmers, the blowers, the mowers, any of those things. Usually they've got personal protective equipment like ears protection on, sometimes glasses as well. They're concentrating on what they're doing, and we just want everyone to stay really safe. So, just if they're running the equipment, just please try to, stay back as far as you can. They're trying to be aware of where everybody is, but approaching them when they're running that equipment it's not very safe. So appreciate your cooperation. Seatbelts requirements. This ties in with activities with Lori and Tammy and what they do here and so on. Just got a reminder, on any of our DRV vehicles, we have to follow seatbelt laws like anybody else in our country. So any activities that we're doing, where we're using the big vehicles and multi-passenger, everyone has to use it. So just want to remind everybody and keep everybody safe. Okay. So appreciate that as well. Window washing. It's common, folks, that's really say. I've been weekly communicating with the vendor that we identified for the whole campus who can do third-story work, and he just keeps telling me he's just slammed right now. They're very busy. He's trying to get us on their schedule, and so I emailed him today and said I really can't wait for you any longer. I'm going to have to get something started. So I'm contacting our vendor from last year and waiting to hear from him to see if he'd like to come back in and do some of the work. So we'll get him started probably with the garden homes because he's kind of a one-guy operation and he can do 2 floors, but that's as far as he can go. And then we'll have him working when this is ready in this direction. And I will keep working on this other gentleman for the third-story work, and we'll get it going here as soon as we can get it started. Next year, it'll absolutely be on a specific time of the year, and campus-wide, everything will be done, and it will be done this year. And lastly, we've understood there's obviously a great need for an ADA opener on the door below the sky bridge on the building department side. We have one that's going to be installed around the 1st of September. So I think September 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. So, automatic door opener. So yeah, ADA is the American Disability Act. It's going to be a lot for people that helps people with stuff. So that should be installed here right around that first week of September, and will be fully operational with automatic doors above. Yeah, it's one of those things we just didn't think about with the project, and it was always just an exit door. So, but now that we see how much it gets used, there's clearly a need. We get that into use. David asked me to mention something about the power outage the other day. We knew 2 weeks in a row. We have exactly the same time. Not sure if David and I have something to do with it, but perhaps we do. To give us in the same room together. So we did see. Yes, sir.
Squirrel took a lunch break.
Did they? That's how that generator works. Maybe not squirrels. That's just got to keep running out there. So we had identified a few things that we need to address. A couple things, transfer switches may not be working the right way, so we have a vendor coming to look at that. So it's nice to be able to see what it does power though throughout this building and the other ones. So we're getting to understand that better, and we'll get on top of our maintenance with it and make sure that we're not having any further testing everything. That's all I really have. Anything more you want to say about the power outage, Dave? Or,
How come the automatic engine didn't start automatically?
we believe it's a transfer switch was the problem, so that needs to be looked at. So we have a vendor coming down in the next week to address that and give us a full service look through the meeting. So why we didn't see it came on right away when we had to start manually. But I just know we can start manually.
There was one thing I didn't talk about.
Yes. Yeah, I can touch on that real quick too. One other thing, again, we identified, we didn't know, this comes along with some new internet service provision that we got brought into the campus, and now we're directing it through. Without going into too much of an explanation, the way it's supposed to run is in a big loop around the campus, and if you're missing one little small piece of it, then it can interrupt stuff. And what we found is there's a battery backup need that we have to have in our main server in this building, and that wasn't included when the whole thing was designed. We know that that's missing. We're going to have that installed, and that should give us that continuous internet service that doesn't interrupt even between. Even between the 10-second or so delay when we lose power and the generator kicks off.
Yeah, the main issue for that is that we can avoid the reboot.
Yes.
That battery probably will go 10 seconds before the generator will kick on. But obviously the whole system will all get rebooted and go down to that time. That's the idea. Avoid so phones, internet, should continue without interruption.
There we go. So I see hands going up. Real quick, what can I do for you, Karen, real fast? Oh, we have a vendor we've hired for that. So he is the landscape manager on top of that. He was out here 2 days ago, and I met him, and he's getting their problem addressed. So. Moles. She was asking about moles. We've got a couple in a few areas.
The emergency hold down that we were talking about that thing, I think we have a good idea to go through and check that they're all working. Somebody needs to get out and power failure.
Yeah. We had a resident that had an issue with a release on the garage door during the power failure, so I'll have to get back with one of the guys that let them address it. You got to work it.
Yeah, it's rough stuff.
They are a challenge. That emergency release thing on the garage door, if you lose power, you've really got to pull on it, folks, and it takes a pretty strong arm. So I recognize that's not always easy for people. They kind of are what they are. The garage door openers. Yes.
I just wanted to say thank you because this last power outage, we had a lot less phone calls into the front desk, who had a very busy job during that time. So thank you for that, but please do remember not to call front desk. We'd love to be able to tell you, down the road, we may figure out a way to be able to notify you quicker of what's happening and what we know, and when it will be back. But generally speaking, we don't know. Anyway, so we're not having to answer the phone. It's very helpful. So that's one thing. The second thing is if the garage door thing, let's say the power's out, you need to get out, you have a doctor's appointment, something's going on, and you need it out, definitely call us. Get somebody there and get the garage door open.
Yeah, that's a great point here, too. We don't have any more knowledge really than you folks can access yourselves about power outages. When it goes out, we're at the mercy with everybody else. The quickest thing I can do is get on my phone and look up Pacific Power or call the number, and they tell me that there's an outage in your area. We're aware of it. We're working on it. Wait.
Right. I think one thing about that though is we listen to whether it's a power outage or there's a fire in the building. We have no way of knowing.
Those are two different things entirely. You're right.
Exactly. So I think that's the thing. The fear factor, what are we doing to see the way to boil? Or are we just going to go on and there?
Well, I can say this: if there was a fire, the fire systems here are all on a whole battery backup system that are on full. So if we lose electrical power, it all reverts to battery, and it all still functions. So if you heard alarms in connection with that, then that would be. There's something else I'm going to bring. Independent living disaster preparedness presentation is in development. We should have that ready before the end of this month. You'll see an announcement on Odyssey, and we'll get paper out to you as well. And I believe much like this, having folks come, we're keeping it about a half-hour presentation. Lots of great information. It will be the opportunity to partner now with independent living and the organization so we can work together on that. I'll look forward to that, and I hope you find it entertaining and educational. I'm going to stop talking after that. Thank you, everybody.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you. Speaking of the power outage, thank you for rolling with us last night. We had to make a decision in about 20 minutes whether we could keep going or we were going to stop everything and do what we had to do. So my team did an awesome job. We gave them about 20 minutes to whip that all up. So thank you. And thank you to Tanya and Peggy for putting on that great event last week with the chili cook-off. I really appreciate all of the participation. We had a wonderful time. The coffee bar, the new coffee bar, the Central Blend, we have a new to-go menu. 24 hours in advance. It has a number on it. It also has an order sheet next to the menu. So we can walk everybody through it if you just come up and inquire. Like everything we do here, it does have an evolution to it. So I'm sure in a year it will not be the same thing that it is today. But that is ready to go. And I have had people do it, and we're doing it right now. September, you'll see the sign up for a wine dinner coming soon on Odyssey. And our Menu meeting will be at 1:30, August 15th. That'll be our new time, 1:30, not 3. Thank you, everybody.
John warned me that it was always hard to follow food. I'll do my best. Just wanted to kind of bring a couple items to your attention. One of the things, and I don't know how many people have heard about in recently around Dallas about the kind of the levy or the new water tax. A couple of you, okay. So, this is a service. In fact, actually, I met with the fire chief and also the police chief about this, and so they wanted to kind of communicate with us. And I believe that they were going to try to get us some handouts by the end of our meeting today. So, not quite here yet. We're hoping that they'll have that back, just in case for those of you that might want to see kind of what it is, kind of how that works. Can you turn down the microphone?
Mike is turned to the speaker.
It's me.
There
It's me. So there is a part of the program is to provide additional services in the community. So they did remind us that in the current tax structure, one of the things that there's so many different things that need to be done, and money goes in a variety of ways, and so some of the areas that the fire and the police felt were important for them to upgrade were just not structurally within the budget to be able to do it. So what they're doing is they passed through the council an increase in the water bill. So it turns out to be $4.95 per household. I was excited about that because I think we're all one house, right? Well, they didn't agree. So that is what that does, is it provides additional police service, additional fire department services, and also EMT. So I know one of the questions is, well, we're seniors, we don't utilize, oh, wait a minute. We do utilize the EMT and the fire department. We're the number 2 customers. So I was surprised we weren't number 1. But we are certainly dependent and also glad that those services are here. I mean, the response that we've always received from Dallas, whether it's the EMTs, ambulance, whether it's fire department, police department, they are incredibly quick to get here, and I think that we are a high priority, so we've always felt really supported by that. But one of the things they reminded us, the police chief reminded us that we have the same number of policemen or policewomen on staff today as we did 20 years ago, which is pretty amazing. Because I think in the 20 years, we've probably grown a little bit here in Dallas. And so the ability to continue to do the things that they are and being available for all of the different services we have, there was a desire and need for us to upgrade that. So what does that mean for us? It means that they don't see us as one home. They do see us as individual users, and so we will be receiving increase for that service, which when you add up how many residents we have, it does, you can do the math, it adds up a little bit there. But we also feel like the services we receive are wonderful and very important to us all. So just wanted to kind of share that. The information, we'll have some information for you. I think we're also going to want to we'll put it on Odyssey, but we'll have handouts as well for anyone. So, and if there's other questions you have specifically about any of that, please let one of my staff know, myself know, and we'll try to get answers to you on that. Any questions on that? Sounds like Amityville, huh?
Huh?
I don't know. I don't know what happened in Amityville, so. But I think I think this is something that a number of cities have done to try to address the needs there. Yeah. Okay. Also, I have enjoyed meeting with the different councils, and so I think all of you should feel good that you've got councils that are in place and certainly bringing questions forward, bringing in important information that is helpful. One of the questions that came up, I think, in one of our councils talked about, what are we doing as far as kind of energy conservation, whether it comes to electricity or recycling and these kind of things. And so one of the things we're able to do, and in this building, because this was the most recently built, there were a lot of energy efficient services in place. Many of our lights, most of our lights are now LED lights. And so, those are very, very efficient. And certainly the tungsten lights, if you have a hard time even finding tungsten lights anymore, but we are pretty much converting to LED anywhere, and whenever we do any kind of work, we're converting those light systems away from kind of the traditional, whether it's fluorescent in most cases, or tungsten, we're moving them to LED. So that certainly is very helpful. We also talked about there's some other smart systems that we are developing. Part of the challenge is that it's easier to do when you're doing new construction on some of these things, whereas if you're doing kind of a retrofitting in an existing construction, it's a little bit more involved because it typically requires some additional wiring being put in. But some of our areas you'll notice, like in these halls here, if there's no activity for a period of time, the lights actually shut off. And then if you walk and you come into the zone and you get picked up by the sensor, then the light will come back on again. So that is, that's one of the things that we're doing. We're also looking at other ways that we can be more efficient, and certainly trying to look at whether it's reusable things, whether it's plastics and all of the different kind of things we're looking at. We're trying to be very conscious of not only cost, but also the environment, and making sure we're good partners in that regard. So if there is something that you have a question about, or maybe an idea that you have, I would love to, and I think Larry and the department, also his department, is involved heavily on those kind of things. We're always open and would love to have, suggestions that there are things that we can do to try to be more efficient and more better stewards of your money. Also, part of the committee, we talked about speed around the campus, and about whether it's staff, whether it's guests, people passing through. We've identified areas, and what we found is that the only thing that, well, actually that doesn't always slow them down. We thought the speed bumps were, I hate speed bumps, but they are generally effective. And so, with a few exceptions, but if you notice, and there are people that are speeding around corners, especially around corners, please let us know, because we're not able to be everywhere. And so if you see something, it will also give us an indication, and the more detail you can give us, the better. So it was, the red pickup with, the big tires, and the guy with, gray beard, yeah. So the more information we have, and that helps us kind of identify it, because you end up, we have staff that are coming on board, and I think what happens is, obviously, with everyone, you get busy, you're thinking about what you're doing, you're not really paying attention to kind of making sure that when you go around some of these blind corners, there could be someone on the other side that we don't want to hit. So we're conscious of that. We're communicating that with our staff, but I also want to make sure that if you see that, please let us know. There's one other item I was going to bring up, but like me now passed me by. Okay. Are there any questions that I can maybe answer? Or yes. Okay. yeah, the question is that, is there anything new that we can talk about as far as the flame, the gas fountain that we have there? And so, the way that was put in place, there is really no simple way to shut it off and on again. You know, shut it off at some point in the morning, and you know, during the day we have it turned off. So that is going to take probably a reworking of that system if there is a way to actually do that. But we've also taken a look at how much does that cost on a daily basis for that. Even though I think it's very visible, it's not a significant cost, but we're certainly looking at that. And if there's a way for us to shut it off, when obviously no one's really enjoying it, then we're exploring that. Yes.
I was wondering about the ATU and past our house on the driveway. Comes up past the apartment. And where did you go?
Well, I'm not sure. Do you happen to know, is there a name on the side of this 18-wheeler? What is it? It's for the food? Okay. Yeah. We have multiple locations on the campus where we have deliveries for food. Now, I believe, I don't know if I don't see Linda or Sean, maybe Bert. I believe for this building and for the apartments, they come in off of Lane Street. And so they don't come really into our property, so that's great. Then they end up going back out, and they should be coming in the back way behind the health center. So I don't know why they really would be coming through here.
I think this last week, he actually did come through.
Yes.
And then turned around and found where he was.
Yeah. The reason why is because sometimes there are substitute drivers, and because Sean's the chef, I noticed, they get lost. And then they end up calling the kitchen and asking them, I don't understand where you are. So with all the new buildings and addresses, it's a little bit different.
Yes, there's actually, and it was hard to believe people could get lost on this campus. And so it sounds like the new drivers, they're lost. And so yeah, if you happen to, if you see someone wandering around in an 18-wheeler on our campus in the middle, you can give them some hand signals to direct them in the right direction there. But that should not really be an ongoing situation. So, you know, I think once they figure that out, then that's usually the last time they have to do that. But new drivers, we're kind of aware of that.
Use Google Maps.
Well, yeah, Google Maps will get you somewhere on this campus, but not necessarily where you want to go. So,
It's the Russian.
but he was looking down as he was driving, reading the text from this. Yeah, okay. I would stay clear of them like you do the landscape people. I would not approach them if they're driving through. Any other questions that I can answer for all of you? Other than my last statement would be stay cool. So yeah, we have some outings outdoors. Be careful in the afternoon because it's going to get pretty hot for a couple of days here. But for those of you that have lived in much hotter environments, this is nice thing is at least it's short-lived and the evenings cool down. So we're going to survive it, and hopefully the power stays on with the hot weather. So. That's a good question. That was brought up at one of our meetings. The question is, what can we do about the early morning sun that comes in the lodge area there? Now, of course, one thing you can do is move to a different location, but realizing that doesn't really solve. And so I think we're looking at there may be some ways for us to have some screens or something like that would be able to kind of cut that down because it happens, yeah. Normally we like to see that sun, especially in the wintertime, but in the summer it can be a little bit intense, so. Yeah. Yeah, I think there may be some areas there, and I think we're aware of that question, so. Okay, all right, well, thank you everyone, appreciate it.
everybody. Can you hear me? Well, welcome on this hot summer day. I want to take this opportunity to introduce our newest residents in independent living, and you'll stand for me just to take the floor for just a second. I'd like you to welcome your new neighbors to Garden Home number 37, Kay and Robbie Brand.